وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. كيف حالكم؟ الحمد لله. Okay, so now we're moving to the description or descriptions of wudu. Now we're going to get into actually learning how to perform ablution. The steps. How do we go about putting into practice everything we learn from the conditions, the obligations, the sunan, all of the different aspects, different categories that we mentioned. Now we're going to see them put together practically. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so the characteristics or sifa, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sifatul wudu, they are: number one is that you make the intention, and yanwi al-wudu lima yushra'u, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, lima yushra'u lahu al-wudu min salatin wa nahwiha. So we're going to make the intention for wudu. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shamsuddin, kif al-hal? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Rahima. Now, so the first thing that you have to do, you have to bring the intention. You have to make the intention. And remember that the place for the intention is in the heart. It's not on the tongue. So we don't make the intention with our mouths. We don't make the intention with our mouths. When we want to intend something as it relates to acts of worship, then we do so with our hearts. We bring the intention to our hearts. This is the place of the niyyah, the heart. Then we say, Bismillah. Then we say, Bismillah. Right? Like we mentioned, the tasmiyah, we say, Bismillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak. Alayna wa alaykum. Now, so you bring the intention, you say Bismillah, and then this is what we're going to do. I would like to have been around some water, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. I got done working kind of late. But what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that there's water running, here. So we say Bismillah. Then you allow your right hand to be submerged in the waterfall. So while it's running, you're going to wash your right hand once, twice, 3 times, going in between the fingers. And the same with the left. 1, front and back, up past the wrist, front and back, 3 times. And you go through the fingers like so. All right? Then we go with the mother. And that is that we cup the water like so. And we bring the water into our mouths. Now, there's 2 ways that this can be done. Either you can take a handful of water, hit the mouth and the nose almost simultaneously. Or you can do the mouth 3 times by taking the water, but not in Ramadan. Remember, we're not going to take the water back to the throat while we're fasting for fear that it may enter the throat and reach the stomach. But if you're not fasting, then you bring the water here, you sort of gargle, and then you spit the water out. You do that 3 times. Then you make istinshaq. Taking the water. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abdul Sami'. Kayf al-hal. You take the water into your nose, like so. Sniff and blow it out with your left hand. Sniff in with the right hand, blow out with the left hand. 3 times. Then you wash your face. And your face begins at your forehead to here, the chin. Right here where your lihya begins. This is your face. From here to the lihya, and between each ear, your face. 3 times. Right? And don't forget to go in the beard. To take your fingers through your beard. Right? Three times. Now, you're going to wash your arms, beginning with the right side. You're going to wash from the tips of your fingers down past the elbow. From the tips of the finger down past the elbow. So you're going to go down. Make sure you get both sides completely. Right? Both sides completely. Every part of the body that you wash has to be wet. Don't forget, we're allowing the water to run. Right? And then you do the same thing on the left side. Outside and inside of the arm. You're going outside and inside. Making sure you get that elbow. Right? Just like that. 3 times. Now, after you do that, now you're going to do your head. You're going to wet the hands, and you're going to do your head. You're going to start at the forehead. You're going to go all the way back to the nape of the neck, back up to the forehead like this, and you're going to take your index fingers inside of your ears, and you're going to go around the inside of the ear, right? And then you're going to take your thumb and go around just like that. And the head is 1 time up in the ears. That's how you do your head. That's the way you do your head. And remember, the ears are a part of the head. Now, you're going to take your foot. You're going to take your foot. Let me remove my shoe. You're going to take your foot now, place it in the water. You're going to run the water over the foot. You're going to come up above the ankle. Come up above the ankle, like so. And then you're going to what? Take your pinky finger and go between each toe. And you're going to make sure that all of these parts are wet. That all of these parts are wet. There was a companion who came to the prayer, and the Prophet ﷺ noticed that there was a dry spot, on his foot. The Prophet ﷺ told him to go back and perform the wudu again and make the prayer again, because there's no prayer without wudu. And if his wudu wasn't complete, then he has no wudu or no prayer. So you have to make sure that all of those parts are wet. You have to make sure that all of those parts are wet. Don't waste water. It's very important not to waste water. The Prophet ﷺ warned us from that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not like those who are wasteful. So you don't waste the water. Also, be mindful of keeping the sequence, like we mentioned. Now, there are some things to consider. Like if a person was to have some sort of wound or bandage or cast, what would they do? They would make masah. They would wipe over it. Simply wipe over it. If a person was wearing a bandage or a cast, they would simply wipe over it. You don't have to wet it. That would damage it and defeat the purpose. Allah wants for you ease and not difficulty. And then we have the issue of the amputee. The amputee, the one who has had one of his limbs or more amputated, meaning cut off. If it's one of those limbs that must be washed, then a person will only wash the tip of the area where it stops. For example, if the arm was cut off at the elbow, then you will wipe that portion. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Isa. Ramadan Mubarak. Ameen. Don't forget, make sure that every part is wet. And we spoke about the amputee. So if there was a wound, some damage to the arm, leg, foot, bandage, then you will wipe over that area. You will make masah. You would make masah over that area. And if the person was to be an amputee, then what we call the nub or the end portion of that limb that's been amputated, that's the part that you would wipe. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَسْتَطَعْتُ. So fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the best of your ability. And He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Bilal, كيف الحال؟ فإذا غسل بغية الفروض فقد أتى بما استطاع. نعم. Now, okay, Naam, don't forget, we got questions The questions can come at any time, so I'm going to be checking on the phone and here live to see if we miss any questions, because sometimes we overlook them. And some people, alhamdulillah, we've been doing pretty good with that so far. But he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِذَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِأَمْرٍ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if I command you with something, إِذَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِأَمْرٍ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Then come with whatever you are capable of coming with. Then do as much of it as you are able to do. And this is what the Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So if you can't wipe for whatever reason, you can't completely wash your hands or your arms or your feet, then you make masah over your bandage or over your cast. Over your bandage or over your cast. Now, when a person finishes or he completes his wudu, then what does he do? He makes dua. He makes dua. And there are different ad'iyah that a person can say. There are different types of dua. And we have some, and of course we have access to them like everyone has, I'm sure. Fortress of the Muslim, Citadel of the Believer, same book, Hisnul Muslim, but in English, they translate it as either Fortress of the Muslim, Fortress of the Believer, Citadel of the Believer, or something like that. A little small book with dua. Now, one of which that you can say and you can repeat after me. Am I going out, or do you have a connection problem that you're going out? Is anyone else having a problem hearing me? Is my connection okay? Okay, perhaps it's on your end. Shakira. MashaAllah. Jazakallahu khairan. Bayyina. Barakallahu feek billah. Naam. Okay. Repeat after me. Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dawood. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم اجعلني من التوابين واجعلني من المتطهرين اللهم اجعلني من التوابين واجعلني من المتطهرين متطهرين. So you make the shahada after the wudu by saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, I bear witness that nothing has a right to be worshipped except Allah. He is alone without any partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad is his slave and his messenger. O Allah, make me from amongst those who turn back to you in repentance, and make me from those who purify themselves. And this is the dua you make after you complete the wudu. Or whatever other supplication that you find and it's authentic, then by all means. And it's important that we stick with that which is authentic. As the Prophet ﷺ was the best guide for us. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. That indeed in the Messenger of Allah is a most perfect example for you. And we're supposed to follow his way. There's no act of worship except that it filters through him and it's done in accordance to his sunnah. So it's not right for us to go to the sheikh and let him write you up a formula of dua, a dua prescription, unless it comes from that which has been authentically attributed to the Prophet ﷺ or his companions. Okay, if anyone has to leave at any time, I understand that everybody is praying at different times. We live in different regions, East Coast, West Coast, North, South. So everyone is praying at different times. It's Ramadan, so things are different. People are breaking fast, and some people are going now for Isha and Taraweeh. So if you have to leave, then the classes are recorded. You can always refer back to them. And alhamdulillah, some wonderful brothers have taken it upon themselves to upload them to YouTube. So if anyone wants to link for themselves or to share, then don't hesitate to ask. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And tomorrow, bi'idhnillah, we should be doing the podcast tomorrow. Myself and Sheikh Hanif, Hafidhahullah ta'ala. Barakallahu feek. Abdul Sami'. Now, so this is, in general, this is how you clean yourself from minor infractions, right? This is the way you clean yourself from minor infractions. So anything less than a woman coming off her menstrual cycle or someone having a wet dream or sexual relations or one who enters into Islam. But the minor ritualistic impurities that we encounter, then this is the wudu that takes care of that. Also for the one who wants to pray or recite the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, let me see if we can find some benefit from the Shaykh. Okay, pretty much what we mentioned. Some advices not to waste water. As we mentioned the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he forbade one of his companions from wasting water, and he asked him, "Why are you wasting this water?" And he said, "Is there wastefulness even in performing ablution?" The Prophet ﷺ, he said, yes, even when performing wudu from a river of running water, something that we wouldn't imagine would ever end, that even that's wasteful, even that's being wasteful. So we should be mindful not to waste water, especially in the masjid and especially in our homes. That's when you feel a pinch, when you have a water bill. And there's another hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, what means there's a demon of ablution. There's a demon of ablution. So be on your guard against insinuation and ablution. Excessiveness in pouring water, which is considered wastefulness, it leads to other illegal and detestable consequences, such as incomplete purification. Purification that is incomplete. One may depend on using water in abundance while making wudu, and so does not make sure the water reaches all parts of the organs or every limb. Consequently, some spots may remain unwashed while one is unaware. Hence, one's ablution becomes incomplete, and thus one performs prayer without purification. So it's a must that you take your time and make sure that you reach all of those spots. Don't be lazy. Put your foot in the sink. If you can't reach the sink with your foot, then sit on the side of the tub. It's like being at the masjid. You sit on the side of the tub and you put your foot under the water and you're able to reach it. Don't wet your hands and let the water and just wipe your foot. No, it's not permissible. That's not permissible. And we'll get into the aspect of masah. على الخفين وجوربين. We'll get to the issue of wiping over the socks maybe in our next lesson. Also the issue of incitement or insinuation that one may, wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, he may have something that comes to him whispering, and then he starts to have doubt. He starts to have doubt. In fact, the best way to avoid the aforesaid consequences is to follow. It's to follow in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ and abide by his sunnah. It's safety and security in the sunnah. The sunnah is like what? Like the Ark of Noah. Whoever boards it is saved, and whoever doesn't is destroyed. So if that will conclude, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and inshallah tomorrow we'll start to talk about wiping over socks and how it's done, what socks are permissible, you know, the different types, the different material, the thickness, everything connected to that, inshallah ta'ala. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Any questions? Any comments? Any corrections? Don't forget, we're just scratching the surface. We're going to get into a lot of detail about this stuff later on down the line. But right now, we're just giving ourselves something to do. We're going back to the basics for those of us who've been Muslim for a little while, and for new Muslims or the people that's here to learn about Islam. We're dealing with the basic aspects of our religion so that we can worship Allah and we can understand who Allah is, His Tawheed, His Shirk, Sunnah, Bid'ah. You know, we took some ta'rifat, some definitions, some important phrases and words and some things that oppose the principles. Because the way to fully understand something is by knowing its opposite. Inshallah, can you talk with my son? Of course I can talk to your son. Is your son a Muslim? Is he an adult? Is he interested in Islam? Talk to him about what? Charlotte, you said what time? Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh for anyone I missed. When do you have these classes? Well, we have the classes now since it's Ramadan. Every day is changing. As we know, it gets a little later every day, but we're trying to be around 9:20. 9:20. Lower your voice, please. 9:20. Making sure yes, it can be two separate actions or it can be one action. Some people find it easier to do it one at a time. But it's also from the sunnah to take a handful of water, to take it in your mouth, and then to the nose, blow out, and then spit. That can be difficult for some if you're not used to doing it. But you can make the mother with the water by rinsing the mouth, expelling it, and then the nose. Okay, as far as the podcast, I'm going to have to talk to Hanif just to be certain on his availability. And we've been working on it, trying to work out the kinks and see the platform we want to use. But I'm thinking tomorrow, just keep looking at your notifications, because whenever I want to say something connected to the class, I usually put it up under the class because I know that the people will get the notification. Inshallah. He wants to be a better Muslim. He wants to be better. I'm trying. He needs brothers. Alhamdulillah. That's no problem. You can have him contact me. Send me a message, inbox, give me his number or something. Or he can call me from Messenger and we can talk. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh Hanif Davis. MashaAllah. That's the brother who was so kind as to upload the videos to YouTube. May Allah reward him for all the work that he does. He works with a lot of teachers and, students of knowledge all over the world, trying to help bring the ilm close and facilitate things like this for people all over the world. May Allah aid him. Alhamdulillah, 29, that's good. That's a rough time. It's rough for the youngsters now. It's a lot of fitna, a lot of distractions, So, yeah, that's no problem. Have them reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, inshallah. Shoot me a message. Inbox me with his name, maybe his number or whatever, some information. I can call or he can call. Yes, this is my understanding. I was doing one action. Barakallahu fiqh. Yes, it's okay. What's important is that you get it done. And you do the mouth and then the nose. So if you just to do it with one motion, then it will be mouth, then nose. If you were to do it separately, then it would be the mouth and then the nose. Alhamdulillah, we need each other. We definitely need each other. We need to network more, and we need to put more effort towards coming together and helping each other so that we don't feel alone and left out and feel as though it's us against the world. Afwan. Barakallahu fi. You got to remember that sin and transgression is easy. If we look at the hadith about the creation of Jannah and the creation of Jahannam, and we see what was surrounding it, when you see what it's connected to, you see that the road to paradise is surrounded by difficulties and hardships and sacrifices. It's a struggle. But anything worth having is worth working for and fighting for. And that's why Jannah is so beautiful. And once you get there, mashallah, it's like nothing else ever. All of that stuff is like it doesn't even matter. It's like it never happened. But the hellfire is surrounded by pleasures, desires, fun, amusement, shiftlessness, right? It's easy to go to hell because it's surrounded by pleasures. But once you get there, may Allah forbid, it's like you never enjoyed anything before. That pain and that suffering, it makes you forget all of the things that you enjoy. Okay. Now, Jazakumullahu khayran. Okay, I think that's all of the questions for now. Likewise, Allah reward you as well. Allah bless you all. Ramadan Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك